Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to show you how to embroider on a fleece. This could be a fleece jacket, a pullover fleece, whatever. This is a pretty stable fabric, so you don't need a ton of stabilizer, but I'm going to show you how I line things up for a left chest logo. Again, there are multiple ways to do this. There are multiple ways to stabilize it. There are multiple ways that people like to line it up. Some people like them a little lower, some people like them a little higher. This is the way I like them, and this is the directions I'm going to show you in the video. So it's really, really easy. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get started. Let me start off by saying there are many ways to do this. Everybody has a different preference of different stabilizer they like to use, a different way they like to measure. There's no right or wrong. You do what works for you, but I'm going to show you how I personally do it. So I just created an acrylic template. You could do this with a piece of paper even, but I just made it a template. I have a Glowforge, so this works. I line up another ruler with this zipper because that is the center and I know that that's straight. And I take my template and I place it right up against that so that I know that it's right. I like to go between 7 and 9 inches, depending on what size the garment is. Between 7 and 9 inches down from the collar, where the collar meets the shoulder, so 7 to 9 inches down, and 4 inches from that center seam up to 5 inches, again, depending on the garment. Typically, I stick at 4 inches. So I'm gonna go, this is a man's large. So I'm gonna go 8 inches down from the collar. So like a woman's small, I would go 7, men's small, a 7.5, 8 for a men's large, 8.5, etc. As the shirt gets bigger, you need to expand that length a little bit. So I've got this lined up with the center. This is right here. So I'm gonna go 7.5 inches where these two meet. And you could just measure this with a tape measure. So you could go with the tape measure here, measure down 7.5 inches, make a mark, and that's your vertical mark. And then you would measure 4 inches from this direction, make a mark, and where they intersect is where I like to put them. So I'm gonna go 7.5 inches down, make sure this is straight, and I'm gonna make my vertical mark with a piece of chalk, and my horizontal mark. Where those two meet is what I'm aiming for. So I'm just going to turn my ruler, again, making sure that this is straight, and mark my horizontal mark. So this is where I want the center of my design to be, right where the two intersect. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, what I like to use is no-show poly mesh. I just like the way it feels better than using a cutaway. You don't have that stiffness. So I'm going to put this right behind that X, and I'm going to do that with a little bit of spray adhesive. I'm going to spray this off camera. And I'm going to tuck this right inside, right behind my design. Perfect. I'm going to use my 5.5 inch Mighty Hoop, and I'm going to use a piece of tearaway. This is black tearaway. Just works nicely, and I think I can cut that down a little bit just so that I don't have all that bulk to deal with. All right, I'm going to stick my tearaway over the top of this, and again, some people like to use 2 layers of poly mesh. Some people like to use all just regular cutaway. It's up to what works for you. I found this works best for me. I'm just taping it down to the Mighty Hoop just to keep that tearaway attached while I center the frame in here. And now it's a little bit of guesswork. You have to sort of feel where the frame is, make sure that you've got it as straight as you can. Since this is a fleece and plush, I want to add some water-soluble topping. You could just float this on the top if you want. I'm just going to go ahead and add it in so I don't have to worry about it. And there is my target. Now I'm going to use the Snowman Sticker. You don't have to do this, but I'm gonna try and see if I can get it to work with my design. What you do is line up the top of the snowman sticker with your horizontal or vertical line. You line the horizontal line up, and that is your center. I take it over to the machine and go ahead and stitch this out. So here I am at the machine. I've put the design up. This is the logo that I'm going to be stitching. I'm going to click the snowman sticker. It's going to tell me that it's going to revert to the original position. I'm just going to click OK. Keep your hands clear. It's going to move. Now it's looking for that snowman sticker. I found it. It's going to make any adjustments that it needs to make. Now it's telling me to remove it. I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to double check over here, and you can see that needle has centered right with the center of my mark that I made, which is exactly what we want. So I'm going to click embroidery. I'm going to set my color. I'm going to do a quick trace just to make sure we're good. We're not going to hit that frame. We're good. I'm going to click embroidery. I'm going to set my color. I'm going to hit lock, and we're going to go ahead and start. Okay, so we're done with that. I'm going to go ahead and open the hoop. I'm going to remove the topping, just the bulk of it for the moment. Let's go to the inside, take this hoop out. I'm going to turn it wrong side out. All right, this outside layer is my tear away, so I'm going to tear that away. This is my no-show poly mesh. I'm going to lift this up. Since we just used that temporary adhesive, it will still move, and I'm going to do a nice trim around it. Make sure that you do not cut your fabric. I'm going to use a lighter and remove any threads. You can trim them if you want. Next, I'm going to use a piece of the Sulky Tender Touch. This will just make it feel a little bit nicer from the outside. So I'm going to put that there temporarily. Actually, I might pin it in to place. All right, I'm going to turn this right side out again. We're going to finish cleaning up that water soluble. So you want to pull out the bigger pieces that you can get. I'll show you how I deal with the smaller pieces. So this is my scrap piece. This is pretty big, so I'm just going to kind of cut part of this off. And this is how I get rid of what's left in the small spots. I just spritz it lightly, take your scrap, put it over it, tap it just a few seconds, don't let it set long, and pull it away, and that gets rid of, I got rid of all those little pieces. If there's any left, you can continue to spritz and just dab. I find a piece of felt works really well. But that got rid of all those little pieces inside. So now I'm going to take this over to my heat press, and I am going to give it a press just to secure this tender touch. So I'm going to turn it wrong side out to do that. So here I am at the heat press. You can see I've got the tender touch right on top of my logo. I have turned it wrong side out. I have the zipper off of the platen so that it doesn't get heated up. I'm going to cover it with a Teflon sheet. You can absolutely do this with an iron. You don't have to have a heat press. What I like about this particular heat press is that this drawer pulls out and pulls in, which gives me better leverage. So I'm going to go ahead and close the heat press. I've got it set for 15 seconds. I had it set for 305. It's at 280. I think that'll be plenty. Doesn't take long. pull this out, lift it up, and you can see that the tender touch is fully secured. And here you can see the finished logo on the fleece. So super easy. There's nothing really difficult. It's got that tender touch on the inside, so it's nice and soft. You really can't feel it. And the finished product was really easy to do. So I hope you picked up some pointers. Again, I didn't really plan to do a video on this, but I needed to make this for an actual project, and I just thought I'd go ahead and film it. So I hope you picked up something along the way, or something that helped you be able to line things up. This is a vintage looking logo, so if it looks not as crisp as it should, that's exactly how the logo is. This is an old vintage logo. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to click that bell so that you're notified every time there's a new video. Thanks so much for watching. See ya. Bye-bye.